Hello friends, Happy New Year. This is Lindsay for Fontsy. Welcome back to another video. It is a new year, so we're trying out a new craft. In this video, we are going to be showing you how to use a scripty, really beautiful, swirly whirly heart font to use as a custom template for wire wrapping. So think like names and phrases and hearts that you can then use for just about anything like jewelry, ornaments, home decor, scrapbooking, mixed media. There's just so much you can do with them. So this is a beginning tutorial. So as a beginner, just want to mention, don't get too caught up on what you might perceive as, flaws or imperfections, because those things just show off the hands of the maker, which is you, and a project is better done than perfect, right? So it's a new year, new craft, and that means a new bundle. So the script font that we're using comes from the January 2022 bundle. So there's a link in the video description, of course, to check that out. And then we'll just go ahead and get started with today's project. So first you'll want to type out your swirly whirly scripty font on a piece of regular copy paper. This font is from the January 2022 bundle, and we've printed out the word love. And then what we have here is a piece of wire. You can find this in the jewelry section of the craft store. Look for wire that is pliable but not too stiff, because then it's just going to be too difficult to bend. Some other things that you'll need are some jewelry round nose pliers and some jewelry wire cutters, which you can also find in the jewelry section of the craft store. Now, if you have pliers in your toolbox at home, you could use those. Just try to avoid the ones that have crimps in them, because those will leave marks in the wire. But essentially what you're going to be doing is using the printout as a template, as your guide to bend and wrap this wire into a word. So script fonts work very well for wire wrapping, since the letters are already connected together. You may need to, think ahead and think through the path of the wire before starting, because it may be a little different than how you would actually write the word, but you can practice with a pencil and paper, drawing it out. So the pliers work exceptionally well for very sharp curves or points, but for like larger curves and bends, you can use, some other tool or something else that you find in your craft room. Like I'm using this wooden turning tool that you could wrap or bend the wire with, and then you get a nice smooth curve. And I think you can see how the printout is just so extremely helpful. It's essential, really, because there's no way that I would have been able to, get the right proportions of the letters and the swoops. So, you want that printout in your scripty font. And then there's a link in the video description to the January bundle where you can pick up the font that we used. Now for this first word I worked with the whole amount of wire. I didn't trim a piece off first to work with, but you'll see in the next word that I do, I found it was much easier to trim off a piece and then start working on it. You'll see at the end of this word, I actually do go ahead and trim off the excess so I can finish it up. And then look at that love sandwiched between two little hearts. Now you'll see with the second word, I print out a much shorter word, hi, and I printed out much larger. And I would recommend that you start with something like this, a short word printed out fairly large, because this was so much easier than that smaller, longer love. So just keep that in mind. And because this word was printed larger, I needed a larger tool to help me bend the wire for the larger loops in the letters. So I just used a paint pen. So search your home or your craft room for things that have that smooth curve to help you gently curve and bend the wire. And as for cutting the wire before you start, just make sure to cut a length longer than you think that you're going to need, because the word with all its swoops and whirls, you're going to end up needing much more wire than just the length of the word from left to right. And it's always easier to trim off excess than it would be to try and add on if you ran out of wire. So the dot on the I for this word was a little tricky because I wanted to make it a little small loop and I had to kind of fuss with it a little bit. But you know what? Don't get too hung up on getting it to look exactly like the printout. The printed word is just your starting point. It's your guide. And as long as you're happy with how the wire is turning out, then it's okay if it doesn't match the printout exactly. And then these last ones that I do are the hearts in the script font. And there's some variations you can do. You can wrap the wire into the heart shape and then actually double back on the design. And so this gives the heart a little bit more like substantial visual weight to it than just a single line of wire. Or you can actually start by doubling up the wire first from the beginning and bending that into the heart shape. And I actually found that it was easier to work with 2 wires at the same time. But again, this was a larger shape. And that's definitely easier to start out with if you're a beginner. And then you can just go wild with your imagination for how you want to use these wire wrapped words and shapes. So like we mentioned, you can turn them into cute home decor items. I thought these hearts would just look so darling in a Valentine's Day wreath. So don't be afraid to just have at it, print out that script font, and jump right into this custom wire wrapping craft. And if you really like this script font, it was perfect for this project. You'll find it in the January 2022 bundle. So I have a link in the video description. So click on that to check it out. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Happy New Year. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.